getting real comfortable for me. If we keep playing like we are, we're gonna have to keep this thing going.
And, and, and you should, because I'm telling you, you you advertise as having a face for radio, but you got a face for HD, high quality, 4K, an 8K camera with that handsome mug.
I'm trying to tell him, man. Being this fat, and the hair's falling out. What I got left's turning gray. To still be this big, it's a gift. Oh boy.
But listen, man. Want to give a big shout out to Haps.tv, our friends. As we know, Haps offers these world-class broadcasting tools and a community eager to collaborate in a simple way for viewers to support creators financially. Want to thank our friends on YouTube and Periscope and Facebook and, of course, Spreaker and iHeart and however else you get the podcast. Want to say welcome. Bucko, last week you were solo because we were waiting for Big T. Big T was a no-show, and I think potentially a no-show because the Saints were getting ready to play the Bucks.
Right.
We'll address that later on because but I will say to you, thank you. Listening to you go back and forth, him and Haw, I made $150 last week in a bet. And I just said, you know what? Buckle told me, so I'm going to roll with it.
Just so rule of thumb, a thank you plus 10% is customary.
You make sure you send me the Cash App, and I'll send some your way, brother.
Absolutely not. I had a weekend for me this weekend. I did not place any bet, even though I was extremely confident in what I was saying. Had some other obligations to take care of, so I did not get to partake in my own wise words. So that's my own fault. We could both be sitting here on something nice, but
yeah, man. But hey, before we even jump into anything and talk about the championship round, I guess some news and notes. Want to talk with you. This going back and forth, this thing with DeShaun Watson is starting to remind me. I'm starting to get the feeling of James Harden. I'm not saying, no one's putting on a fat suit, but I'm like, this dude is starting to be persona non grata, and he doesn't seem to be wanting to even be the slightest involved with his team, the Texans. Is there something in Houston? Because, Houston Rockets, Houston Texans, what's your take?
I was going to say that. Maybe something's in the water down there, coming out of, Port Arthur, Galveston area. I don't know what's going on. But when your organization is run in such a way where the best player, top 5 player in the league right now is wanting out because you're not doing what you told him you were going to do. That's a messy situation. That job went from, when we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I had this job maybe number 2 on my list because of DeShaun Watson. Even though they have cap problems, they have no draft picks for the first 2 rounds. I still had it as a high job because of that guy. Now, if you're Eric Bienemy, if you're Brian Daboll, if you're one of these guys, do you have Houston high on your list as a place to go? Because you don't even know if you have a quarterback. Not only do you not have draft picks, you don't have any money. Now you don't have a quarterback. I don't know how much of this is real. The man has posted a bunch of subliminal stuff on Twitter. He has not given any definitive statement, him nor his agent, saying he is asking for a trade. I don't really think he has any leverage in that regard for trade. But where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a whole bunch of smoke signals coming off of that situation. It's tough.
Hello, Ndeye from St. John, and hello, Mark, our CEO of the Haps team. I want to thank you guys for sending a shout out. I don't know. I just get a feeling like he's done. He's thrown his last pass with the Texans. And now it's kind of like, what other deals are out there? I mean, I don't know if this thing could be repaired.
I don't know that it's done. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's done because you just signed this extension last year, and that was after they had already traded Hopkins. It was after you already had an inkling in your brain that there was going to be some shakeup. Bill O'Brien probably wasn't going to remain. You signed that contract extension knowing all of that. So if you're saying we came at this point in the beginning of January, now here we sit on January the 21st, and we're two totally worlds different apart. I don't like that to be accurate. Again, I think there's a whole bunch of stuff being thrown out there, a whole bunch of fodder, a whole bunch of clickbait. I haven't gotten any factual information from any source, whether it be the McNair team there in Houston or the Watson camp. I think it's all a bunch of hearsay at this point. I know if I'm Houston, I don't give a damn. I'm not trading him. I have the leverage. He's under contract with me for 4 more years. There's a no trade clause in his contract. What, you're going to sit out him? I'll fine you 40 grand a day until you come back. I'm not going to trade you. I have the leverage. That's the way I would play it. It may not sit over well, but that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, hey, I want to also thanks to Mark for the high five award. Definitely appreciate it. You got a great platform here, Mark. You got a lot of great collaborators here. I don't know. You got a winner on your hands. Hey, yeah. With DeShaun, I just don't know. I just get the feeling that there is no going back. But then again, there's going back because he's under contract.
Right.
Yeah. He's under contract, and who's going to take the contract? What's a package you could put together, Bucko, for someone like a DeShaun Jackson? The Jets have what, like 97 picks over the next 2 years? They got picks from everywhere, but I mean, DeShaun Jackson is a winner. I like to say he is a definite winner, but what do you think?
I think DeShaun Watson's a baller. I'm thinking if you're ranking the top, 5 to 7 quarterbacks in the league, every single person that will have a list will have him in it. He's 26 years old. He's a winner at every level. He's come in and did amazing things without DeAndre Hopkins, without a defense, still led the league in passing, put up insane numbers with nobody there with him, no running game. Dead last in the league on defense, second to last in the league running the ball. He did it all himself. So, yes, his trade market, his trade value is sky high. That contract is actually pretty good considering the level he's playing. So I think the Jets, the Jags, the Falcons, that you can give me 12 teams in the league right now will give up whatever Houston asks for to get that player. And that's where you got to be weary. Wait, everybody wants to give us all of their, assets for our asset. Aren't we better off keeping what we already have here? So they're going to find a way to make it right. They're going to kiss the makeup, and everything's going to be fine. That's what I think boils down to at the end of this.
I'm just checking a text message right now. Wow. And it's so ironic. Man. Peter, I'm definitely going to get back to you. I'm seeing the text. There's a live show going on right now. If I'm, you know me, I'm a Jets apologist. Mm-hmm. I would say, I know we got Sam Darnold. I get it. And I've been a supporter of Sam Darnold, but I'm going to tell you all along that I will pull the trigger at any given chance. I don't know if I lost you, Bucko.
No, it went blank there for a second.
Oh.
Technical difficulties. I'm sure everybody is on some kind of virtual bandwidth right now.
There's so much virtual bandwidth going on in the house. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I got 3 daughters on tablets right now. I know my connection is probably running about 6 megs a second right now. So Hopefully, I can stay on.
Nah, you got the 1 gig. You got the 1 gig connection. You better stop playing around.
No, and that's what I do for a living. That's what we install, but I don't have it here. I'm still
Okay.
on 75 meg Comcast line, and I
Okay.
hate it.
Okay.
You know,
So as I was saying before, I would pull the trigger if I was Jets management. But before I pull the trigger, I would love to have a conversation with DeShaun Watson to kind of see what makes him tick. To
yeah,
see,
and, and and that's
not
what needs to
is
happen.
it
That's
worth
what they
it?
said they want to do. They said that the man's been on vacation. They haven't even spoken to each other yet.
He's not
So,
answering their calls.
well, I mean, I'll deal with it when I want to deal with it. I just gave you 6 hard ass months, and I balled, and I played through injury, and I won 4 games. I don't even want to think Houston. I'm in Barbados drinking Mai Tais. I'll call you when I'm ready. Period.
Um, I was gonna wait until Tory gets on here. We'll table DeShaun Jackson.
You know, he's been walking real slow since Saturday night, I'm sure, or Sunday night.
So hey, I do want to answer Chris B. Chris, I want to thank you for the shout out. Your question is, I got the $1 million question. Are you covering the Super Bowl? Covering Super Bowl Sunday? It's a good question, Chris.
Not live.
Not live.
Not
I
me, at
think
least.
there's going to be a little too much libation going on to cover it live, but I'm sure it's some aspect of it.
I'm definitely down to join late night parents to do a pre Super Bowl, or if we can even call it Super Bowl. Are we allowed to do
I
that
don't
now?
think you can call this a pre-Super Bowl.
Do we have to call it the Superb Owl? Or I mean, how does that work?
But
Yeah,
Chris, we'll definitely get back to you because I would love to definitely cover it, this aspect of it, but I would have to sit here and talk about it with Bucko and Big T, and we didn't have that conversation yet.
yeah.
So, now, are you talking about play-by-play, or are you just talking about a pregame show, Chris?
Chiefs will win.
Chiefs will win.
I
Okay,
don't know. We're gonna get into that in a minute.
we're
Where
gonna
do we
get into
turn on
that.
chicken so fast there?
So, hey, while we're here, tell me this much: there were only 6 spots open, 6 available coaching spots open.
Yeah.
I believe the Jets got the pick of the litter of the available coaches, the coaches that they were interviewing, of never coached before, or never been a head coach, with their option. But my question to you specifically, before we get into the available options and who went where, why would anyone take that Detroit job?
Um, Honestly, that's where I thought Robert Sala was going to go because of he's from there, went to school there, his family's there. He's an avid Detroit Lions fan. Richard Sherman, on his behalf, wrote a letter to the governor asking them to please hire him. You know what I mean? So everything lined up, and he admitted he wanted that job. But for whatever reason, Detroit didn't hire that guy, passed on that guy for, from what I saw in the press conference today, probably one of the craziest person I've ever seen do a press conference in an NFL setting. That was the wildest, most rage-filled introductory press conference I think you'll ever see. It sounded like a WWE promo. Like I was listening to Dusty Rhodes, coach of the Detroit Lions. I don't know what that's going on right there. Wow.
And I just want to comment back to Chris. Chris, potentially pregame and postgame, yes. Maybe something short, impromptu during halftime is a possibility also. Thank you for inquiring. And also, we need to speak with our good friends at Haps. He said he wants to encourage the foodies to do a food Super Bowl. I'm just saying this is a good promoting tool for Haps. Yes, it definitely is to get people involved.
Don't threaten this fat boy with a good time. Let's go. We're going to have a spread over here.
So, I mean, I'm totally off right now. But for, you know, Buckle, last week, so it was me and just my dad that were over here. We just had, burgers. We had hoagies and, some mashed potatoes. And I think I had some dirty rice. That was like, and that wasn't like a Super Bowl Sunday. That was just something you just throw together.
Right. No, I mean, me personally, it's like when my team is playing, I try to eat something regionally centered around where the team I'm playing is. Like last weekend, we had po' boys and Cajun crab dip and Mardi Gras wings and all that good stuff. And then we washed it down with a nice Tampa Bay victory. It was beautiful. So this week, I think I'm going to go with like some fried cheese or something, maybe some brats, some Leinenkugel beers, something like that. You know, we try to be geo specific with our food choices.
So, give me a quick rundown of the positions that were taken, the opportunities that were taken. Which job would you have taken?
Me personally, like I said, the job I would have wanted day one, opportunity number one was LA. And that is also my least favorite hire. I mean, I think Staley did a good job there in LA coaching that defense, but we all know Wade Phillips and company put that together, got it all rolling, and there's a whole bunch of all pro level guys on that defense. And I don't really think that guy was a real catalyst to making that defense number one, if that makes sense what I'm saying. He's not, in my eyes, I don't know of him as a great coach. I don't know people who have spoken on him before this or before that, but I honestly think you got a hot young quarterback. You got some young talent at the skill position. You got some young talent on the defense that you want to build around. Me, I'm getting a proven offensive coach and pray I can get me a good coordinator just to improve that defense a little bit. They went the complete other way around, an unproven defensive guy. I guess we'll have to shake and see how it plays out, but I am liking the trend I'm seeing, Ted. So far, no retread coaching hires. All new, younger coordinators, first time guys. I like that trend. I'm tired of the damn retreads and Lovey Smiths and Leslie Frazier getting all these jobs. You know what I mean? I like to see new blood.
So you wouldn't have been happy if you saw Marvin Lewis show up again?
A team like Detroit or even the Jets, a team that is in such disarray, such a dysfunction, a guy like that with his track record of discipline and building the program at least to some level of stability, I would have thought that would be a good hire there. I think the Jets in turn still made a good hire. I like Robert Saleh a lot. I think he's going to bring some intensity, some swagger to that team, which is what you need after that nut job you've had the past couple of years. And speaking of nut jobs, that guy in Detroit, I said you probably have to be crazy to take that job. And judging from that press conference talking about eating people's kneecaps, I think he just might be crazy enough to be perfect for that job and that team. Let's see what happens.
But it seemed like so many different coaches that choose the Detroit route, they flame out. So I guess my question to you is, what is the shelf life of an NFL head coach?
Here lately, it's been 2 years. It used to be you get 3 to 5. You win a Super Bowl, you're guaranteed 5 years. But hell, Doug Peterson just got jettisoned after 2 years. So I don't even know anymore, man. It's almost like you have got to win games and win the PR battle. You know what I mean? You can't be like Patricia, who just got fired for the Lions. You can't be losing games, looking sloppy, and you're an ass to the media and everything too, and an ass to your players. You know what I mean? If you're a locker room guy and that locker room fights for you and they fight hard for you like they did for Dan Quinn down in Atlanta all those years, you get a little bit more leeway. You get about 6 years, something like that. But I'm thinking if it doesn't start off good in your first 2 years, these teams are cutting bait quicker than what we're used to. It's pretty alarming.
What was the defensive coordinator's name? He used to be the DC for the Patriots, and he was the coach for the Lions.
Yeah,
and
Matt Patricia. Yeah.
Patricia. And wasn't he like the next best thing? And it was, he was an engineer or an astrologist. He was someone that it seemed like the NFL was high on. He got the job, and then, dude, 3-13 the first year, and then I think he got like 3 years, didn't he? Or 2.5.
I think he won 7 games in his whole career there. Either way, it wasn't good. He flamed out. He lost the team, lost the fan base. Like I said, didn't look the part, didn't act the part. Yeah, and I know he went to like MIT or something. He's some whiz kid and
Yes,
a Belichick guy. And I think that what we just saw with him being fired, and then the rumors of Josh McDaniels and everything, and them deciding to go with a crazy choice over there in Philly. I think we finally reached the end of that Belichick tree. Everybody trying to get the next Belichick because all of his disciples have flamed out miserably, and it's not been pretty.
I think O'Brien was the only one that had the chance, but the minute he became kind of like the pseudo GM and coach,
Yeah.
he was already questionable with his record, but the minute he got that, overarching power, that was the beginning of the end.
Right. Yeah. You could see he started losing the locker room. When you trade a guy like D Hop, and you don't get even a first round pick back after you already lost your first and second round pick, trading for that left tackle that you paid, a large amount of money. Your team has no cap. Your veteran leader J.J. Watt is pissed off. Your quarterback leader is pissed off. He had to get fired. Now you saw Rack, Romeo Cornell cat tip to him. He tried to do what he could with that team, but it is hard to win when you have that many deficiencies. And Bill O'Brien can't point at anybody but himself for the whole lack of depth on that roster and lack of continuity as a team. He messed everything up.
Hang on 1 second, Bucko. So tell me this much. I just want to go back to DeShaun Watson because I kind of got taken off with. There's a lot of movement going on in my household. And so DeShaun was brought in. So he got the contract last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone loves him. He's a great person in the community. Blah 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 blah. Didn't it sound like? I mean, we're hearing this the second or third person or through Adam Schefter or Pro Football Talk. Didn't ownership bring him in? Didn't they bring him to the table to have that conversation, like on the next coach and the next GM, and the external consultant agency that's going to hire those positions?
Right, and that's the thing is, from what was reported by, I think it's Bob McNair, the longtime beat writer down there. He said what was reported was when they fired Bill O'Brien and did everything, they told DeShaun, we're going to let you have a seat at the table. Your input is going to be, taken in on GM, coach hires, things of that nature. Then they go out and they even hired one of those scouting firms, a couple $100,000 to a scouting firm to help find them a GM, find them a coach. They completely ignored everybody that was on that list. The guy, Casseri, or whatever his name is from the Patriots, it wasn't even on the list from the hiring firm that they brought in. And DeShaun wasn't discussed at all whether he liked or didn't like the guy. And if I'm the owner of a team, I don't have to include that player in my circle of hiring decisions, but I'm not going to tell them that I will and not be a man of my word. So yes, I understand DeShaun being a little ticked off, but still, that's not his lane, and I don't think this is going to carry on much further.
So at one point, I think Tony Dungy, I think there was a couple of people that were involved in the conversation, or there was a couple of people that were either on the phone but I just know Dungy's name was referenced because, whenever there's an issue, Tony Dungy is brought in as like the oracle. And this is from what, 10 years ago?
Well, I mean, Tony Dungy's opinion in a lot of areas is valuable. Um, uh, Tony Dungy let Peyton Manning make decisions, but I don't think like Bill Belichick didn't include Tom in anything. Packers didn't include Brett Favre in anything.
Right.
So
So they made a mistake. They made a mistake?
Yeah, absolutely. Just by telling him you're going to allow him to be in the conversation, you made a mistake. He doesn't know enough about hiring a GM or running a franchise. He's only been a player for 4 years. What do you expect him to know?
So so tell me this much. Is DeShaun Watson a franchise quarterback, yes or no?
Absolutely. Without question.
Okay. Is DeShaun Watson, you answered that question correctly. Is DeShaun Watson a contract person, a cap person, or a GM or a player personnel person?
No.
And is Deshaun Watson the governing body over picking who should be the next coach?
No.
So I asked you those questions because I knew what answer you were going to provide. I just think it was, clearly a miscommunication. I don't know why they involved him. And it's the Texans' bad. It's their bad because clearly if you're, and I get it, but unless you're, how do I frame this? Jerry Krause didn't include Michael Jordan in, outside of maybe a Dennis Rodman, player personnel type issue. And I just, the way I feel is, if you want that the athlete to be the athlete, it's one thing. But if you're bringing them in, then you bring them in.
Right. And then you come out and make the asinine statement of we don't want the inmates running the prison or whatever it was that was said. It's not a good look all the way around. This is a hole that McNair built for himself, dug for himself. He's going to have to find a way to dig himself out. He's going to have to clean this mess up. He's going to have to make it right with his franchise quarterback. But again, all the leverage is still in the Houston Texans side.
Right.
So Deshaun's going to either have to suck it up and get out of his feelings and play football, or he's going to have to dig his heels in and really force their hand.
Okay. I think we'll leave this here for now because I want to get into last week. I want to get into a couple of questions last week because I still feel like, well, not necessarily because he got knocked out the game. I'm gonna ask you: Is Lamar, do you expect Lamar Jackson to get the that quarterback contract this offseason? That franchise quarterback contract.
I'm glad you asked that question because it was actually I believe it was either earlier this morning or last night. John Harbaugh said it in a press conference that he is confident, he is certain that the contract extension for Lamar is coming this offseason.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, like, man, at what level do you pay this guy? Because yes, he is an incredible athlete. He does things quarterbacks can't do, even Mike Vick couldn't do, right? But you're seeing him play, and you're seeing that this style of football is not going to win in January. You're going to win 10, 11 games every year off of athleticism and off of trickeration and whatnot. But it's not a sustainable playoff winning product. So I ask you that regard. Pat Mahomes making 40, DeShaun Watson making 38, Matt Ryan's making 36, right? Aaron Rodgers making 38, right? What do you pay Lamar Jackson?
I don't know. Do you just take the median number of those numbers all along and just squish them together and say 35? And does that piss Lamar Jackson off if you say, hey, I'm going to give you 35?
There was my follow-up. If you're Lamar Jackson, do you in turn think, hey, I'm the best quarterback in the league. I've taken you to the playoffs 3 years in a row. Yeah, right. Granted, we only won the one game, and we kind of got embarrassed in a couple of them. But I brought you here 3 years in a row. We're winning games. I'm putting up stats. I'm the MVP. I want 41 million. Right? So I don't really like the way they played this game. I know he got a concussion there at the end, trying to save a snap that went over his head. I get all of that. You know that was a tough way for it to end for him, but he did not play well in that game. And the pick sixes, the errant throws when J.K. Dobbins had a lane open, he kept it and got smashed in the mouth. Things like that. He was not sharp. He was not on his game. And that's 3 years in a row in the playoffs that it's ended ugly for Baltimore. So I'm confused. I would hate to be in that position because you don't want to disrespect him and offer him $30 million a year, but you also know he's not Pat Mahomes. He's not that guy. So you don't
But
pay him that way either.
see, so here's the problem because you don't want to get yourself involved in a problem that the Cowboys and Dak Prescott ran into either.
Exactly. But see, look at the Cowboys. Look at how bad they are without Dak. Oh boy, Dak just got paid by not having to play. That injury got him his money. They were so damn bad without him.
I don't know. I'm just the way I feel. I'm not gonna say he's not a franchise quarterback. I'm just saying that type of football play in the playoffs. We've seen it 3 years in a row. It doesn't work.
It doesn't. And Lamar Jackson is special. Lamar Jackson is, if we're talking fantasy football, he's a top 5 quarterback. But if we're talking football, fundamental football, I don't think he's anywhere in that conversation. I really don't.
So I'm gonna say I'm okay with. I mean, if I was him, I'm okay with 35. But what is the extent of this contract? Is it a 3 year? Is it a 4 year? Is it a 5 year?
That's what I was thinking, man. Maybe they can get away with doing a Kirk Cousins deal. Short him a little bit on the dollar per year amount, but make it fully guaranteed. Like slap him with a 4 year, 130, but fully guarantee the whole thing. That way he knows he's getting 130 no matter what. And then, you kind of leave yourself an out, but you're stuck with it for 4 years no matter what kind of contract you give him. So you might as well do a 4 year, fully guaranteed, like Minnesota did with Kirk.
All right, that's a different perspective. If you look at return on investment, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, if they could do this deal again, would they do it?
No, I don't think they do. I think Kirk has had some moments, just like in Washington, like with that game against the Bucks. You like that? You like he had some moments where you got to say, "Damn, maybe this guy's pretty good." But then he has so many other moments where you're like, "Jesus, Dalvin Cook just ran for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and you found a way to still lose the game." Now I know that they had a jettison on defense this past year. The defense didn't really work out. Lost Xavier Rhodes, lost some key players over there, Everson Griffin. But Kirk Cousins had a stinker of a year, man. He had a stinker. And, ruined a great year from Dalvin Cook.
The one thing I will say is he bet on himself. He got paid for it. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to think that we're going to see this much more in the future. Take the short deal, take the big money, and don't get hurt.
Right. I mean, the man had 2 years of franchise tags. Then he had 4 years of fully guaranteed $30+ million season. I'd venture to say Kirk Cousins has made close to $200 million.
Yes.
He ain't won nothing.
He hasn't won. Has he won a playoff game?
Yeah, they beat the Saints twice.
Okay. I remember that play. Yes. Oh wait,
the miracle.
They was Stephon Diggs. That wasn't Kirk Cousins, right?
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
Nah, I think it was Chase or I forgot what the
Keenan.
Chase Keenan.
I don't know, man. It might be. You might be right, bro. You might be right. I'd have to go back and look at that because I know he's been there 3 years, and that was in 2018. So I think that was Kirk Cousins' first year, bro. But I could be wrong. My memory ain't what it was, so I'm gonna let you have that one. But either way, I know that they beat the Saints, um, last year in the playoffs.
I don't want to mention the actual game because T's about to jump on with us. Was last week's hit with Mahomes dirty? Nah, or once again is showing you that type of play is not longevity in that style.
Dude, when you are a runner, you are subject to the same punishment all other runners are. I don't care that you happen to be an elite level player, a quarterback, whatever. You want to sit there and run a zone read option, and you want to come up the C gap with your head full steam like that. You deserve to have it rocked off your body. Period. Protect yourself. Protect your neck. He didn't do that. I understand it's playoff football. He was trying to get that yard, and that's football. That was a football play. It was a football hit. There was nothing dirty about it. You want to talk about dirty? Let's talk about the young man who was made a hell of a catch, made a hell of a play, just trying to dive and get a couple extra yards and get in the end zone. Instead of first and goal on the one, it's first and 10 going the other way. Because it
Mm,
just so happened to barely lose control of the ball when it was going to the ground.
mm.
That's a dirty play. That's a rule that really needs to be revisited. I think that's kind of a jacked up mistake. But no, the Pat Mahomes hit was clean. The hit on Lamar where he was pushed in the back of his head hit the turf. I hear people say that was dirty. No, these are football plays. We've seen some really really non personal fouls get called protecting these quarterbacks. And if they're in that pocket, you run that risk. But you get out of that pocket and you start running like a running back, I'm gonna hit you like a running back hard.
I'm going to ask you about Cleveland Browns, or as you said, the Cleveland Hash Browns.
Cleveland Hash Browns.
Um, Game was theirs to take.
It was there, bro. They had everything going their way. Now, granted, like I said, that god awful fumble at the back of the end zone. I really hated it for that kid. He made a play. I was just trying to do a little bit too much. If he just holds that ball, takes what he got, and goes down to the ground, you're looking at the Cleveland Browns probably winning this game. But even with that said, you're down 5. You got the ball. You had 5 minutes left in the game. Um, you are not trying to have any sense of urgency at all. They're running the ball on first, second, and third down, and then punting. What the hell are you doing? It's almost like they just assumed that they were going to punt and stop Chad Henne off GP and get the ball right back in better field position. And in the playoffs, man, you cannot make those kind of assumptions. You are down 5. There's 5 minutes left. You're not playing conservative, not managing the clock, and then punting away. That was the dumbest sequence at the end of a game that I can remember seeing in the playoffs. Uh, Cleveland had every opportunity for that game to be there to be won. They tried to be conservative. They didn't go out. They played to not lose instead of go out there and win. They should have went out there and took them a W. And kind of feel bad for that fan base because they're not going to get a better opportunity than what they just had.
What's your take on Baker Mayfield?
He's a jag. He's just a guy. He's just a guy. He's just good enough to where you won't be able to draft his replacement, but he's not good enough for you to actually win any hardware. He's never going to be a leader of anything statistically. He's never going to be a perennial playoff guy. I think he's better at commercials than he is playing football. But yeah, he's Doug Flutie. If I had to give him a pro comparison back in the day, he's Flutie Flakes, man. You like him? He's a likable personality, but he's not that dude, man.
I will say this much. I mean, yes, I lived in New York. Of course, where I live in Long Island, they consider Jets and Giants their teams. Buffalo gets no love down here. But I'm sure the Buffalo Bills would have preferred the Cleveland Browns versus the Kansas City Chiefs, even with Pat Mahomes. I don't want to touch it because Tory is now in the building.
Oh Lord, he's alive. I was worried about him there for a minute. You know,
You ain't gotta worry. Yeah, you ain't gotta worry. I told you this ain't. This is not H5
H5
or whatever you calling yourself.
Oh man,
Tory, happy that you're here. We're gonna get right into it. We touched upon all the topics. We got to do a recap of Bucks and Saints. Would you like to? I don't know where. I'm not sure what's happening right now.
Oh, he got a bag on. He got a bag on. You know. Hey, he know I gotta get him.
You know you got to get it. Come on.
He know I gotta get him. I'm gonna let you get away with the bag, though. I'm gonna let you get away with the bag. You know, even though y'all lost 4 out of 5 games in a row.
Hey man, when it matters, bro. When it matters.
Yeah. Okay. Ted, like I said, I'm not coming on here to make excuses about the game. We turned the ball over 4 times. We gave away 4 turnovers, which led to 21 points.
Yeah.
And I don't care how good your team is, you're not going to win like that in the NFL.
Right.
And that's ultimately what happened. I think not having Taysom Hill and not having Deontay Harris in the second half is just it was a big loss. And especially when we got down in the red zone early. Like I told Bucko, I said when we got down there twice and we came away with 2 field goals, I said that's not good. The game should have been 14-0 at that point. It ended up being 6-0. I was like, that ain't good.
Right.
And,
that was key. The Deontay Harris had me nervous because I knew that was one aspect of the game where we're not strong whatsoever. Is on the special teams, and that Joker with 2 out the gate. I was like, "Ooh!" I saw that yellow flag. I said, "Thank you, Jesus, thank you." That would have been a backbreaker right there. But
yeah,
shout out to the Saints defense because look, Drew Brees. I think that's the worst game I've seen dude play ever, and it sucks that likely it's his last game. Him going out like that because that defense balled. I think we had 5 3-and-outs. We had 4 turnovers, and we only won the game by 10. That's incredible. We should have blew them out, but the defense played well.
We lost Tory for a quick second. I don't know if he's pulling an ain't. We lost his video.
Hey man, the bag hurt his feelings. He had to go.
I don't know.
He'll be back. We'll let it. I mean, at least he showed up. He's not making excuses. He came wearing that ugly, doo-doo and gold.
That
I just know I want to ask him his feeling of how it's going to feel to go back to losing football every year. It's coming. It's coming.
And this is sometimes. Oh, I want to tell you, I love this broadcast studio. I know they're still working out some of the kinks. So I've listened in on some of the HAPS, community projects, and I know they're working on some things. So we got to be patient with this because I've seen some video broadcasts where people are, Bucko, they're losing their mind, and I'm like, hang on, it'll be there. Bucko, Tory, I see you back. Tory.
Now you're gone again. Leave that man alone. You don't want to know.
Maybe that's him. Because I just want to get my question in. My main question for him is, how does he feel about famous Jameis being his QB?
Yeah, man, it's tough. I want him to answer that question too. But my wonderful daughters helped me make this in commemoration of Tory and all
Oh,
of his glory. It's over. It's over for
over,
you,
man.
Tory. You're done.
It's over.
It's over.
The other question I want to ask him about, there was so much back and forth with Michael Thomas in the beginning of the season and him getting suspended and this and all this other stuff. I'm like, is he going to be around or is he going to be traded during this offseason?
Well, I mean, the Saints PR people, Drew Brees' wife and Michael Thomas himself and everything, they spun it there at the end of the game with the number of injuries Drew had, and then Michael Thomas had this, that, and the third. He's going to need 3 surgeries. He only tried to play because it was Drew's last year, and he wanted to be like, nah, dude, you punched your teammate in the face. You
Right.
got suspended. You had a high ankle sprain, and you missed 9 games due to a high ankle sprain. So you can probably go get some cleanup surgery. That's fine. AJ Brown just had major knee surgery on both his knees. That son of a gun played every game and got 1,400 yards, 1,300 yards. So miss me with that ankle. That dude is soft. I don't like him. He cannot take criticism at all. He whines and cries on Twitter because they call him slant boy or whatever they call him, slant guy, whatever the term. There's a bunch of different ones. And, to my knowledge, I asked T if he comes back. That's why he punched his own teammate in the face because they called him slant guy. And if you run 90% of your routes are digs and slants, but you got 149 catches, you'd be like, hey, I'll be slant guy, but I got 149 of them. How many you got? Right?
And you got paid.
Yeah, dude's sensitive, man, and I have no excuse for that sensitivity in pro sports, especially when it's becoming regarding accolades. If someone's coming after your teammate or whatnot, or someone's coming after the team, that's fine. But someone attacking you on Twitter, you cannot let something like that bother you when you're a multi-million-dollar professional athlete.
So who was attacking him? Like an egg? Was it like someone without an avatar?
No, it was actually a bunch of people, like Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, okay.
Actual players in this league, other receivers saying, "Oh yeah, I'd probably get to 149 balls too if I had a guy completing 75% and throwing nothing but slants. I'd have 170 catches." They were on his ass because he was out here all of this extra flex. I'm the best. Can't guard me. Like, no, we can guard you. We're just gonna let you have that 7-yard stunt. We're gonna make you do we ain't getting nothing over here. But that man had 7 targets, 0 catches, 0 yards, 2 drops. I want to hear nothing from Michael Thomas going forward. Shut up and play football. And enjoy Jameis Winston overthrowing you 30, 40 times a year.
Oh, my God. I don't know if he's coming back or not, Bucko.
Nah, I mean, ain't no point in even trying. I mean, he got to see the bag my daughter's made for him. That made me.
There you go. There you go. So what's your take on hang on one sec.
It's him.
Hang on one sec. What is your take on the 2 games that are left?
2 games that are left. Yes, look, we'll do a quick rapid fire on this because I know we've kind of killed some time waiting on T, and all that seemed to be all for naught. So I feel bad to the Habs audience tonight, but we'll give you a better product next time.
Yeah.
But these next 2 games, man, you couldn't have scripted this season to go any better. Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, 2 of the young leaders of the future of the NFL. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, the last of the old wave, right? You couldn't have scripted it any better. I think it's good for the Bucs finally. They gave us the early game. especially being we're in friggin' Wisconsin. It's going to be 18 degrees and snowing. I love the fact that game is on at 3 and not at 7.
Oh,
So
so you got the 3 o'clock game. All right.
yeah, we got the early game. Let the young boys have the nightcap. Tom
Okay.
Brady, you ain't gonna be in the bed by 8 o'clock, bro. Come on. You know how we get down. Uh, but no, I honestly, just like what I said last week, the game we played against the Packers means nothing. Just
Okay.
like the 2 games we played against the Saints meant nothing. This is the playoffs. The Packers are playing at a very high level. They're running the ball well. Aaron Rodgers getting that ball out of his hand. Um, but the way we're playing right now, Ted Drew, we are playing, buddy. The defense is flying. Devin White is incredible. That man was all over the place. Levante David, Mr. Steady Eddie, doing all the little work so Devin White can run around and make big splash. Uh, I still am extremely confident we win this game. I think it's going to pose more problems because Aaron Rodgers is not, he can actually throw it. He doesn't have a noodle arm like Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be a game, but the Packers don't have the defense the Saints have. So I still see us scoring easily into the 30s.
Okay.
Will the Packers score with us is my question.
So what's your prediction?
30-26 Tampa Bay.
And okay, 30-26. So I mean, has the spread changed? Because the last time I checked the spread, I think the Packers 3.5. Okay, by 3.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And they still have the Chiefs at 3.5 as well.
I don't see how that's the case.
Because Pat Mahomes has been practicing all week and he's cleared all the phases of concussion protocol. So
okay.
Yeah.
Tory, you're back. I know you there were some technical issues. The question I got to jump in here, Bucko. Tory, I need you to answer a question. It seems like the changing of the guard has happened. Are you okay? What are your feelings with the potential of famous Jameis Winston being your quarterback for the foreseeable future?
Man, I got mixed emotions. It's definitely not going to be that. Here's what I have to say about Jameis and Bucko. I wish you would try to deny anything I'm about to say. He was a little turnover prone coming out of college, so we knew the turnovers were there. However, when he did get to Tampa, they put a good offensive line around this man, and they didn't build an offensive line around this man like they did for the great Tom Brady. They didn't go out and draft, a left tackle. So basically, what you saw from Jameis last year was him running for his life a lot, him trying to make a play, and the offense that Bruce Arians ran was designed for him to push the ball down the field. Now, that does not excuse his decision-making at times, but when you don't have a clean pocket and you're running for your life, you tend to press a little bit. Is he going to be Drew Brees? No. Do I think he's improved from being around Drew Brees and being around Sean Payton? Yes. How much he has improved, we'll see. I'm optimistic about him being the quarterback of the future. I want to see what he can come in and do because the Saints have a good offensive line. He's got playmakers around him. He's got the arm talent. The knock on Jameis was the turnovers. And I know my man Buckle gonna sit up here and be like, "Oh, with Jameis, y'all didn't put an offensive line around Jameis to keep him upright and to keep him from running for his life while he's been in town."
We have the same exact offensive line we have last year, except for one rookie right tackle. One rookie right tackle. That's it. The rest of the line is the exact same. What it is Tom Brady getting the damn ball out of his hands instead of running around stupid. And we're not down by 30 because of 2 first-half picks and having to fight and come back. So we're balanced.
But it was the same thing when Fitzmagic was the quarterback.
I'm not going to say Fitzmagic is a good quarterback either.
You
No.
know?
I was the conductor of the Jameis Winston bandwagon.
Yeah,
All
you
the
and
way
I
back in
both.
2012 when
You
he
and
was
I
coming out
both.
of high school.
You and I
Okay,
both.
I'm off that bandwagon. I derailed that train and tried to
Yeah,
dump it in the river.
I don't think he's a bad. Let me say this: is he a top 10 quarterback in the league? No, not right now. But he's a lot better than some of these starters in the NFL. A lot better.
Yeah, like dude, when I sat here and I looked at the Steelers just signed Dwayne Haskins and not going after a guy like Jameis Winston, yeah, I can get your point there that I'd put him somewhere to the middle of the pack.
Yeah, he's in
But
the middle of the pack.
how hard is it going to be for your offense to go from second best of all time to 16th best of right now?
They got to try. They have to try something because here was Tampa's game plan, and I'm gonna show you this. They came in saying, you know what, Drew Brees is not going to throw the ball more than he's not going to throw the ball past 20 yards, and if he
Okay.
does, it's only going to be twice in this game.
Okay.
So they came into the game not fearing any type of deep threat. Their safeties played up. Okay, because there was nothing, they were afraid of nothing getting behind them. So that's why you saw the extra tight coverage on Michael Thomas and everything Drew Brees tried to get underneath. It was contested because that was the game plan. We know what they want to do. We want us to. They play them twice. They played them enough to be familiar with what they're trying to do and not get manipulated by it this time. So Ty Bowles said, you know what? We're gonna pull the safeties up. We ain't afraid of nothing deep. If you're gonna beat us deep, you're gonna win this game. Mm-hmm. Case in point, when the Saints ran the trick play, the safeties were still playing up. Yeah, still not realizing.
4 guys on Kamara.
Still realizing that Drew Brees is not in the game. Yeah. Look, Traquan Smith was 30 yards wide open because the safeties was sticking to the game plan, knowing that they're not going to throw the ball deep, and it just happened to be Jameis Winston. He's got the arm to get it there. He was able to make that one big play. But that was the game plan, and that's what Drew Brees has turned into someone, if you play zone, don't really challenge the intermediate stuff, he can beat you. And he can hurt you. But if you sit on him and you challenge the run game and you're able to contest a lot of those short throws, it's a long day, and that's just what happened. And couple that with the turnovers, it was done. So I'm curious to see what James is going to do as a starter. Okay. I'm optimistic, but I am not against them bringing in another veteran or drafting another young quarterback.
Bucko, let me just get in here really quick before you chime in. I want to give a big shout out to Banner Man. My man Richie Rich is in the building. Cameron, thank you for the award. And Banner Man has a couple of comments. He's saying Brady has some serious weapons. No home field advantage for Free Bay except the cold. And he said Jameis is not matured. It was his fault last year. He's not a franchise quarterback and want to be Saints' future.
Yeah, but look, they're saying that, but really and truthfully, that's what attracted Tom Brady to Tampa. He had 2,000-yard receivers. A lot of that was because of Jameis. Now, don't get me wrong. He threw some turn. He turned the ball threw 33 interceptions last year.
Right.
But he threw for an astronomical amount of yards, and that was because, like Bucko said, the Bucs were behind a hell of a lot. Mm-hmm. But he still had to get the ball there. He still had to produce, and a lot of those games, the Bucs didn't have a running game. A lot of people went into that game knowing, all right, Jameis gonna chuck it, and that's what they're gonna do. They didn't have a Leonard Fournette, and Ronald Jones wasn't the Ronald Jones this year.
True, very true, very true.
So a lot of that played into what happened to him last year, and so they're saying it was his fault. But like I said, he still produced those 2,000-yard receivers, was raised Tom Brady's eyebrows and say, "Hey man, they got some talent down there in Tampa. I need to get down there."
No doubt. And look, if he went to any other team, and I literally mean any other team, but your team, I would probably share your opinion. But once he put on that fleur-de-lis, that man is dead to me. He is dead. I wish him nothing but the worst, and only him. That's it.
Big T, I need your what's your thoughts on Green Bay and Tampa Bay?
Well, when the first show we did, I came on and I said there is no home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the it's a level playing field. The only bad thing is you're traveling and you're not in your bed. But when you get on the field, there's no crowd noise, not enough to distract you anyway. So you're basically playing. The quarterbacks can hear everything. The offensive line can hear everything. The defense don't have the crowd banging in their ears. So it's the only advantage for Green Bay, in my opinion, is the cold weather. Like somebody was saying in the chat, and I don't even think that's an advantage because Tom Brady played in New England. So what advantage do you have there? He's used to that. After seeing Green Bay play against the Rams, I gave them a little more credit, even though Aaron Donald was hurt. That the rest of that defense, Devontae Adams still went out and balled out against Jalen Ramsey. I'm going to give Green Bay the slight edge, and I mean very slight, because I think Green Bay's defense has improved since the first time that they played them. And coming to see the team a second time as the team that going in with the W, same case in point with the Saints had beaten the Bucks twice. The team that lost often comes in with that edge because now they're in the lab like, oh man, we got to go back and see what they did. And the way they got stomped, I know they sitting in there like, man, we got to definitely figure out what the hell happened when we went to Tampa Bay. So home field advantage, nah. Cold advantage, I mean, Tom Brady gonna have him ready for that. He used to that. I think that's not gonna affect him. I give Green Bay just a slight edge because I think their defense. I'm not worried about their offense. The offense is gonna do what they do. Aaron Rodgers is gonna do what he do. But I think their defense has stepped it up just enough to give them a slight edge over the Bucks.
Okay. So I guess we'll go to the primetime game, which is going to be, the next generation. You got Chiefs and you got Buffalo Bills. Like I said, Buffalo's a New York team that New York doesn't support. I don't get it. I do get it.
I've always liked Buffalo more than the Giants. I don't know. I don't know why New Yorkers don't. I don't know why they don't like the Giants. I mean, I don't know why they don't like. Is it because Buffalo is not quote unquote in New York? They don't play at Giant Stadium. Is that what it is?
Right. They don't play in New Jersey. They actually play in New York.
Right. Is that what it is?
But hold on, they're closer to Canada than they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
They are.
See, and that's the big thing because people in New York. People think New York City. You think of Queens, you think of the Bronx.
Right.
That's not the case.
You can always make room for a third team and be a Bills fan.
I don't know if Buckle commented on this game.
He didn't.
Even with Patrick Mahomes, come on, we all know he was going to play. There was no way in the world he was going to miss this game unless his head was falling off his body. They were definitely going to clear him in concussion protocol. With him playing, man, I like Buffalo, man. I'm gonna say Buffalo. Surprising. I'm gonna give Buffalo by a field goal in a close game.
What?
Only because I like the matchup of Tre'Davious White on Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
The advantage I give Kansas City, the advantage I give them is Travis Kelce. But Buffalo has Edmonds in the middle at linebacker, so it's kind of it's almost of a toss up with them. So I think because of Buffalo's defense, I'm gonna give them an edge by 3 points. And the cold once again is not a factor. There's cold in Buffalo, it's cold in Kansas City. That doesn't factor into it.
Yeah, I think they're going to allow. I think it's 7,000 or 8,000 fans. That's not enough to really make a
No,
difference.
no.
Right.
But
But hold on there, Bucko. So, Big T, I need a score.
Man, okay. I'm gonna say. Oh man, I'm gonna say Buffalo 20-17.
low scoring.
Yes.
Low scoring.
Yeah.
I got it going a kind of a different way. I got the same team winning. I too have Buffalo. I have both underdogs in these contests winning. I see the game being neither team is really able to run the ball this last part of the year. Neither team is going to try. And they're going to be out there slinging it, balls flying everywhere. Like T said, they got the linebackers that might be able to step up in coverage underneath on those crossers with Kelsey and Robinson and those guys. But I really, really like Josh Allen and the way he's playing, the way Diggs is playing, the way Beasley is sprinkled in there. And the fact that Brian Daboll says, look, I can't run it. I'm not wasting plays trying to run the damn ball. I'm going to sling it. I actually respect that. And I see this game being a shootout. I got a 33-27 Buffalo.
Wow.
Yeah.
So both of y'all feeling the Bills. If Mahomes didn't take that hit last week, would you have been swayed the other way, or you're all in the Bills?
I don't think the hit on him is. I don't think that factors into it at all. Like I said, unless his head was falling off his body, he was going to play. So I don't think the hit that he took plays into him going into this game any differently. I just think Buffalo is kind of that perfect storm going up against them. They got one of the best secondaries in the NFL. The safeties, the corners, they're gonna be ready to play. You got Tre'Davious White, and you got, don't forget about Josh Norman.
They got Josh Norman at 33 years old.
Norman's still out there playing with an attitude, you know. I think
I saw it on the internet going around this week. They had Andy Reid and Tyreek Hill as the two guys in Weekend of Bernie's, holding up Pat Mahomes' head. So this is how we come into the game. It don't matter. He is gonna play no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah.
And honestly, I'm telling you right now, before that movie came out, before all these protocols, I think Pat Mahomes would have came back in that football game.
Yes.
Yeah. He comes back in that football game. Yep.
So it was not a dirty hit. It's a clean football play. I don't want anybody crying. You want to sit there and try to run the ball, get hit like a runner. And that's the one impact I think that injury is going to have on him. Andy Reid's going to think twice about calling that play, and Patrick Mahomes going to think twice about running that damn play.
Yeah. I don't think it stops him from scrambling, but I think it stops them from calling any type of quarterback design run.
Right.
But then on the other side, you got Josh Allen, and let's go. Yeah. Give me that quarterback run. I'm taking it.
Yeah. That's another. He's going to make a lot of plays.
When you look at the Chiefs' defense, you look at their secondary. Who are you afraid of? I mean, the honey badger out there doing this thing, but you're not necessarily afraid of the honey badger. But Stephon Diggs is looking at that secondary like, all right, okay, well, I don't know, whatever side I'm going on, let's go.
And their best corner, Bashard Breeland, coming out of protocol as well. Mm-hmm. So, he make a tackle the wrong way, he can get dinged back up. Again, Kansas City, if you look at them this last month of the year, they limped into the finish line, man. They have not looked good. The Falcons took them to the damn brink. I mean, everybody has pushed them to the wire. I'm always the guy going at the team that's hot into the playoffs and continuing that hot. The Chiefs kind of backdoored their way into this bye and really hadn't been tested, and they just don't look crisp to me. Buffalo firing. So that's my difference in the ballgame.
So I had a couple of people from Haps come on, and they asked a question, Tory, before you jumped on. They were asking about would you be interested in doing a Super Bowl pregame show or a halftime show or post-game show? I got a feeling there's going to be too much libation involved to commit. I just don't know. But I wanted to throw that out to y'all.
If they want to do a little pregame hype, we could do that.
Okay.
I'll give you some pregame.
Yeah.
But I don't know about halftime postseason.
Halftime, my team is in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna be drunk.
He's gonna have a heart attack. What's the status of Antonio Brown?
Bruce Arians said he doesn't need to practice. He's a veteran. He has not practiced because he's resting. The knee has no structural damage. Same what happened with Mike Evans. No structural damage. Just kind of tweaked it a little bit. You saw he tried to go back in there, and it was tightening up on him. So this whole week has been about loosening the knee, resting the knee. Antonio Brown does not need practice. He just needs to let the swelling go down, let the knee heal. I think he's going to play.
Yeah. I think that Tampa Bay wins this game. Let me see how I can put this. Tampa Bay wins this game if Davante Adams has 5 catches for 40 yards.
No. Just a little numbers for you. The first game we played him, he had 6 catches for 60. Carlton Davis was on him the first half of that game.
Yeah. See, something like that.
31.
Something like that is where y'all win the game at. Anything over that, if he starts, because you know what happens once he starts getting loose, then you got to start worrying about Robert Tonyan. Then you got to start worrying about Aaron Jones. Then you got to start worrying about Alan Lazard.
But we got to get in there and hit him.
Van Scantling. But it all starts with Adams. If Adams is not cooking, then you can kind of roll cover. You can kind of play your base defense of everybody else. But if y'all still having a roll coverage over Adams, yeah, that's a problem.
Right.
Hey,
and then,
big shout out to Donnie Murdoch.
Vita Vea might play. So if that happens, that's huge.
I want to give a big shout out to Donnie Murdoch. He says Buffalo's going to win the Super Bowl. They got to get past the Chiefs this week, Donnie. I'm with you.
Ironically, I was at the Super Bowl when I was 8 years old in Tampa. Bills Giants, the infamous 15-13 Super Bowl. I was in person on my 8th birthday watching that game. So the Bills do not have a good history of winning in Tampa. So, let's keep that out there.
Well, they don't have a history of winning the Super Bowl at all.
Period. Isn't that what Bill? Boy, I love losing Super Bowls.
Man. Yeah. As much as I love Jim Kelly and those teams, well, I ain't gonna say love them. In my older age, I've come to appreciate them. But like I told you, I was a Raider fan, Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, and they were just punishing us at that time. I hated Jim Kelly, but you get older and you just recognize greatness. Like I got a chance to really watch Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed and all those boys do their thing.
I got a final question for y'all. Chiefs OC Eric Bienemy. His name has been mentioned. We've seen so much footage of him and content, and we know that he happens to be on Andy Reid's staff, and he happens to have a quarterback by the name of Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. He says he wants to be a head coach. What needs to happen? Why hasn't this happened? And the final question is, has the Rooney Rule failed these types of candidates?
Miserably. The Rooney Rule has failed miserably. It seems like coaches of color are only good enough to be assistants, in the eyes of NFL owners and general managers. We can give a black coach an assistant job, but when it comes to a head coaching job, it's a problem. Meanwhile, other coaches are getting rehashed and getting this chance and getting that chance, and even if they're not even considered back in, they might be in retirement. Hey, let's go get that guy. Well, man, he ain't coached in 4-5 years, and you don't want to consider the guy that's been an assistant and productive in the league. You would rather go back and recycle another coach. I'm surprised Bill Cowher's name hasn't been mentioned because they like to bring him up. He's been retired for umpteen years,
like almost 15 years.
Yeah, so it's a problem, and I don't know how they're going to fix it. But it's a problem with giving African American coaches the opportunity to prove themselves when it comes down to being head coaches in this league. It's something that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, and especially this year, T. This year's even further echoing that point. Even though Terry Fontenot and the other guy from the Rams that went to the Lions, I believe.
Right.
So you finally got some GMs, some minority GMs, which is big. You need those guys in management to get to the hiring the next level. So yeah, it's a trickle down effect. But when you're looking at guys like Eric Bienemy, who this is kind of tongue in cheek, but there might be some serious to it. Andy Reid might be putting out some bad media about that dude or something. He don't want him to go because there's no reason that guy Staley for the Rams, the defensive coordinator for him.
Yeah,
there's no reason there's no way you hire the backup to the backup of Doug Peterson in Philly.
Right.
No way, that nut job that came from the Saints talking about biting people in the kneecap and kicking people in the neck.
Dan Campbell.
That guy got a job. No, dude. So yes, that narrative can't be ignored with what's happening. All of these young, unproven white coordinators are getting a job where none of us. These two hires that happened today, I hadn't heard of them guys.
Yeah,
I never heard of that guy, your tight ends coach, and then the guy from the Colts. I never heard of either one of them. Yeah. I've heard Eric Bienemy's name mentioned for the last 4 or 5 years. The guy
it kind of makes you wonder. Now I know Dan Campbell, Buckle knows Dan Campbell, but a lot of people are like, who the hell is Dan Campbell?
Right.
I know him because he's been on our staff as tight ends coach. So and he came from Miami where he was an interim head coach, and they didn't even hire him there.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so where do you come? And you get a coach off of Sean Payton's staff, that's the tight ends coach, not the offensive coordinator, the tight ends coach, and you promote him or you give him the job in Detroit as the head man. And that was their guy. That's who they wanted. But the guy that's coached up Patrick Mahomes and led one of the most prolific offenses in the league, along with being tutored by one of the greatest head coaches in football, he doesn't get a look. He's not high on y'all list. What are they doing in Detroit? I don't know.
Is it kind of like the gift and the curse that he has Pat Mahomes and he has all the weapons and everything else like that? Could it be that, or could it be that like? Does Bienemy call the plays, or does Andy Reid call the plays?
No, Bienemy calls the plays.
Argument, though. You can't use that argument because of the dude that just came from the Colts.
Okay.
The guy ain't never called a play in his life. You never even heard his name. You at least know who Eric Bienemy is.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Dude, that's what I'm telling you. So this guy at some point either misspoke in an interview or something happened in this guy's life where someone's trying to prevent him, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. He's overly qualified. He was a player. He's a coach. He's been on a great staff, under one of the great mentors of this game, and you're not considering him. But these guys coming out the woodworks, 34 years old, we never heard of them.
Right.
I want an explanation. I want to pray that as a society in 2021, it ain't because of the color of the man's skin.
Right.
But what else are you led to believe? Because I really have no concrete information as to why he's not being stronger considered, unless this is just us as couch GMs overhyping the guy. I really don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know either. But the guy's been a good coach for a long time. You go all the way back to his days in Minnesota, where he coached. He was the running backs coach. He coached Adrian Peterson, all those years. Now you sit here and you say, "Oh man, well he's Adrian Peterson," but just great talent still needs to be coached. That's what people get. That's what people fail to realize. great talent still needs to be coached. It still needs to be coached. There are still bad habits that develop. There's still things that they're trying to implement into the system. Great talent still needs to be coached, and he has done it over his career. Whether it be Adrian Peterson, Patrick Mahomes, or whoever else he's had. If even take that, you talk about Patrick Mahomes, but you take him out the equation for the little while that he was out of the game last week, and they come in and they call in plays that are working for the backup quarterback.
Yeah, Chad Henne, 4th and 1.
You know,
Andy had a wheelbarrow walking in front of him. That was ballsy, man. That was wild.
You can't say that it's all Patrick Mahomes because they clearly are able to coach players up, and he's a part of that.
So Jerry Miller chimes in and said Chicago should have fired Nagy and hired Bienemy. Not doubting that. Here's the other thing. Does it make sense for Bienemy to go be a college coach?
No.
And then
no.
My
thing is this, Buckle. If he goes and becomes a college coach, okay, and that's almost saying, all right, I got to go prove myself in order to come back to the NFL and to show you I can be a successful head coach. Okay, he's been in the NFL long enough as a successful coach to where he should at least get a shot. Because, like we've been saying, these guys are getting shots out of nowhere.
Right?
Where are they coming from? So I could see if you were saying, all right, he's a first year assistant that's done really well, go into the college ranks and build a program and then come back to the NFL. But he's been there long enough to where he's a seasoned coach. Now, if it gets to the point where he just doesn't get any looks or he never gets the opportunity, well, at that point, I can say, well, yeah, man, maybe you just want to say screw the NFL and just go into the college ranks and build your program. But for right now, why go back to the college ranks when I've proven what I can do on the NFL level?
Gotcha.
Exactly, especially since he's in the same exact position that Matt Nagy was.
Right.
Nagy didn't call plays. Nagy just happened to be a coordinator up under Andy Reid. They got him a job in Chicago. He's still there.
He's still there. He's still there.
That guy sucks. Then they wouldn't trade it for Nick Foles.
And as a matter of fact, you're talking about Nagy. He had to give up his play calling responsibilities, and when he did that, that's when Trubisky started looking better.
Yeah.
So he's still there, getting another chance to yet another season in Chicago, but you don't want to give this man a chance at 1 year as a head coach somewhere?
Yeah, it's really difficult for guys that want to hope that one day the discussion of race doesn't matter, especially in our sports.
Mm-hmm.
The sport predominantly 70% people of color. But how do you argue against the nepotism, the bureaucracy, the hypocrisy of what we've seen? How do you argue against it when you're not given, in my opinion, equally as qualified of guys, if not more qualified guys?
Yeah, it's basically right in front. They do it right in front of your face.
Yeah.
You know,
my dad told me when I was young, when someone shows you who they are, believe them, right? And I think the league is showing us who they are time and time again, and I still don't want to believe it. So maybe I just need to take advice.
Yeah, you got to find a way to get these jobs, get these guys equal opportunity or at least a shot. That's all, and that's basically all they're asking for. Give us a shot. We already know when we're talking about head coaching positions. We already know what's going on. You're going into a situation where you're going to get 3 years maybe to build a program or to establish your system and your culture into already losing situations. Unless you're somebody like Urban Meyer that's coming in already with a lot of cachet, that's saying before he even walks in the door, hey, I'm not gonna play that 3 years and I'm gone stuff. Y'all gonna give me at least 6, 7, 8 years to try to build this thing up before I even put my feet.
Right.
You're not gonna have it.
Urban Meyer gonna have heart problems in 3 years and quit.
No, he's not. He's not. He got so many draft asks. He got so much stuff. You know, he picked that job for a reason. But what I'm saying is, when you're an assistant and you're going into a situation like, let's just use Detroit for instance. You're going into Detroit knowing that you got a couple pieces, but really and truthfully, they've been losing so long. You already, when you walk in the door, the pressure's on you to win. And if you come in, even though you're inheriting a mess already, and you have a horrible first season, the pressure's on you. Oh, if you don't get us at least to the playoff next season, you're out the door. Well, the man only been here 1 year.
Yeah. What are you talking about, Raheem Morrison, or I mean, what was the name of the gentleman who's the Cardinals coach?
Oh, he was only there for a season, right? He was only there for 1 year.
He was going out there a year.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot his name. I know who you're talking about. He was only
there for 16 games.
He was only there for 1 year, man. They won't get rid of the man after 1 year.
Yeah, ODC from the Panthers.
So you're already coming in knowing that you're already on a very short leash to produce, and you're already going in. There's a reason why the previous head coach was fired.
Right.
So you're already going into a situation where it's definitely a rebuilding situation, and y'all want me to win, like right now. Like I don't get a chance to draft a quarterback, get an offensive line, get some defensive players in here. No, I don't get a chance to do none of that. Y'all want me to come in and be good right now.
Yeah, I mean, hey, not for long, man.
That's true. Hey, we're gonna call this an episode. We promise to give the folks a little bit, much better quality next week, because I know we had some technical issues, and life tends to get in the way of things. I had family members walking in and around and in front of me, and
one last man. I'm letting it go.
Oh man, you got your day coming. Your day coming.
But
y'all better not get blown out by Green Bay. That's all I know. Y'all better go up there and represent the NFC South. Y'all better not get blown out by Green Bay.
Next week.
I guess in unison, you guys want Buffalo, and then you kind of go your own way when you say, because I know Bucko wants Tampa Bay, and I know
he picked Tampa Bay.
There's no way Big Team's going to pick the Bucks.
No, I would have picked the Bucks. I ain't like that. I'm gonna pick it right. I'm gonna pick it, without any bias. But I just think Green Bay's defense is playing well enough at this point to squeak out a victory over a slight edge. Not by much. I think that's a field goal game also. But not by much, though. I think Tampa, especially the way their defense played last week, Devin White balled out of control. My Purple Knight brother Leonard Fournette balling out of control. And Mike Evans, they got the swag going, man. They got Brady, and you know what's the difference? You almost walk into a game saying we got Brady and y'all don't, and that's a confidence builder right there.
Yeah. No, I mean, I had the game 30-26. I also see it a close game. I'm not foolish enough to think we're going to beat them by 28 again.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, their finesse, we're physicality, man. We go out there and we hit them in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any reason why we can't beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Big T, I do want to make an honorable mention. I listened to Bucko last week, and you and Bucko was trash talking. I put 150. I put 50 on the Bucks. Made 150 back. So
yeah, that's what's up.
Hey, I wouldn't.
I told Bucko to see his Cash App address because that was a nice pickup.
Yeah, as they say, a thank you and 10% is customary. That's
okay. That's okay. Ted, I've
Hey,
made
I
enough
gotta
money
send that money to Tory anyway.
over these last 4 years. Over these last 4 games, he didn't been punished enough.
I needed this one. I needed this one bad, man. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! So with that, gentlemen, we're gonna call it a show. Want to thank you once again for chiming in. We will watch these games this week, this weekend, and would love to do a follow up. Nick, well, there's gonna be a gap, so might have like a half an hour show or something next week, and then just to lead up to the Super Bowl, or because I know because I don't know if anyone watches the Pro Bowl. I really don't watch it.
They're not even doing the Pro Bowl this year, but now
Oh, okay, good. Even better. But all right, we're gonna call it a wrap. Gentlemen, I want to thank you again, and we are out.
All right.